listening to the Mark Bradford Alchemy for Life podcast.
Is your filter broken? I hope not. Well, hey there. In my podcast called Resilience is a System, I spoke of your own personal resilience to things in your life coming from a web work of other people. That you can't really do it alone. I envision it as a web because it stretches and pulls back and forth. And when things stretch in one direction, your friends and family stretch it in other directions, thus keeping things balanced. There's another version of that web work of sorts that is managed by not only your friends and family, but your greater work network and even employees and coworkers. It relates to what you encounter, your quality of life, and what you're exposed to. Now, I'm not talking about those that live in a bubble or an echo chamber, which both are detrimental things in their own right. I'm talking about a tribal mind based on trust. I'm talking about a filter. A filter in its most basic form keeps things out that you don't want and allows things you do want to go through. Our friends, family, acquaintances, and networks do the same thing. In our business world, we're all forced to network probably a lot more than we want. I mean, I like getting out there, I like talking to people, but networking can be a very extroverted, exhausting thing. I mean, sometimes you get tired of explaining what you do 400 times in a networking event, especially if you're shouting above the horrible acoustics. The ultimate goal typically in these networking sessions is to make more contacts, gain new clients, and spread the word about our product. And really to learn more about how we better can help other people. And yes, I want to make the asterisk that a good portion of networking is that you're also finding a good fit for other people. Thus, you are being part of the filter for those people. And even sometimes you're part of the filter for people you hardly know at all, but you're aware of their product, or through another person, you're aware of what it is they do and what kind of work they do and what kind of people they like to favor as clients, the best fit for them. So again, you're actually part of their filter as well, even though you may not have even met them. If one of the people in our network is explaining our product wrong, giving false information about what we can and can't do, or even calling into question the quality of our product, then that's a problem. That part of our filter is broken. They're not letting in those who would be great clients. They are, in fact, turning away clients and sort of poisoning some of the fish tank. Oh, did I forget to say this was a fish tank? Well, yeah, when I think of a filter, I don't really think of a filter in your furnace or something else like that. I kind of think of a filter in a fish tank because that's a more obvious filter. And when that thing gets clogged or whatever, you certainly know it. Now, if they make false promises about our product or overpromise, then they're letting in potential clients that aren't a match. And that's just wasting not only our time, but the potential client's time. They could even be letting in clients that themselves may be disreputable. You see how that all would be pretty harmful? The same applies to our non-business filter. We expect in a family and friends environment that they too would filter and bring in good people. We trust their judgment, their integrity, their ethics, and morals. After all, that's how they got to be our friends, at least, right? We don't, however, choose our family, but we still have the same expectations. So what happens if the filter fails? In business, we can have a chat with those in our network. If the chat simply not warranted or is unsuccessful because you try it and it's just not working, then we can and should disconnect those individuals from our network. I mean, in simple, fairly harmless scenarios, if somebody's referring the kind of clients to you that you simply don't help because you don't do that flavor of what you're doing. If you do insurance, but you don't do personal insurance, you only do insurance for small businesses, well, then you're wasting those people's time. There's no malice intended there, but they don't get what it is you sell. If you do something in technology, but it's the wrong technology, and there's a million wrong technologies, and nobody does everything, then again, that's not helpful. And again, I want to put an asterisk in here that sometimes it's a great opportunity in this particular case to refer them to somebody who can help them. And that's sort of always been my promise. If somebody comes to me for something that they think I'm able to do for them, I look at it, I assess it, and I think, you know what? I'm not quite a good fit for you, but you might want to go here. Those people are always thankful, and they come back sometimes when they do need the thing that you are able to do, or they'll refer someone who does. So enough of that positive asterisk. So getting back to the people in our network who are referring incorrectly or just not working out, their filter's broken, in other words, those people who have LinkedIn are probably very aware of poor filters, failed filters, and they've maybe even disconnected people from people who bring those posts to them that are just not a fit or in some cases annoying or offensive. I'm sure this happens even more on Facebook, but I'm not a big Facebook user when it comes to, posts like that. But definitely LinkedIn. If the part of the filter that's broken is your business partner or coworker or boss or employee, again, that same sort of procedure of adjusting their understanding and perceptions should happen first. And worst case, they will be disengaged from employment. Something that's much more difficult with a C-level or founder of a company, obviously. And then there are friends and family. What then? What if that part of your filter is broken? What if the most egregious of events happens because of a failure in a filter? That's a hard one, isn't it? That's a hard one, and not really within the scope of a 10-minute chat. So I will take a breath here, and I will tell you to do the same. Take a breath and look around and consider if in your life your filter's broken. Because if you have a properly working filter, and again, a filter is almost an active thing. It doesn't just sit there and keep out the bad stuff. But that's a big part of it. A filter that I'm talking about, in business networking at least, and maybe even in families, is something that's sort of actively processing. I mean, when it comes to dating, you definitely find that if you have an active filter, you may very well meet someone really important through this filter. But if it's not working, and there's a big hole in it, that's a problem. So again, first and foremost, I would like you to consider the filters in your life, whether they're business or personal. Are they all working? Are they working properly? Or is there a hole in one of them delivering horrible things to you? Because if we are to have resilience and success, we need to make sure we also have a working filter. Thanks. Hey, it's me. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Got to tell you that The Sword and the Sunflower has been out, and if you pick up a copy of The Sword and the Sunflower, you'll be ready for the release of Amira, the epic conclusion to the story of The Sword and the Sunflower.